All right, you guys, as you can see, we're gonna do a quick video, my final sort of thoughts on the IE version 2 intake. This intake is like wonderful. I love this thing so much. You know, the whole process, installation, building it, kind of getting it to pretty much go right into the engine bay was really easy, really simple, and really quick. So I'll kind of go through sort of my, basically how the install went, and then we'll take it for a little spin, we'll get some sound clips, and we'll kind of conclude it. All right, so as you guys can see, I just threw on the carbon lid just to show you guys what it's like. Installation for this carbon lid is very, very simple. All it takes is a couple screws. So the screws just for the carbon lid, they just mount to here. They kind of just follow along like so. Now, this screw holds in the actual intake, and then this side actually holds on the carbon lid. But as far as installation goes, really easy. I know it's kind of a little tedious because you have all these screws and you know you have to make sure all of them are tight just to hold this thing in, but otherwise it's really in there. As you guys can see just below it, that's our intake, our filter. One of the things I like about this intake is the fact that it does replace all of the factory piping. Of course, if you guys can see back there, hopefully, at least you can see the screw for it, but we do have the IE turbo elbow, so that's all installed, of course. Now that's not included into the purchase price of this, so it's around $320 for the carbon lid. I think it runs around $370 for the actual intake and the, you know, for all the piping and everything. But the cool thing is, when you do buy the IE intake, you do get all of this minus the carbon lid, all kind of standard now. What I'll do now is I'm actually going to take off this carbon lid just so we can get some really nice sounds. This does suppress sound, but it also keeps heat out. One of the reasons why I'm running it right now is just to kind of see how it performs, kind of just get my impressions with just kind of the carbon lid as is. But I think I'm going to take it off just now just to get a little bit more noises because it does dampen the noise a fair amount. We're going to take it off now, and we'll get some really good sound clips, and I'll kind of show you guys what the intake looks like. All right, and just like that, you guys, we finally removed the carbon lid. And as helpful as it is at keeping away as much heat as possible, you know, for this open system, it definitely does help. However, the sound, and that's something I'm super in love with this car. The induction noise is so great, especially with this intake. It's just so absolutely exaggerated. If you guys are new to the channel, it's about my 4th intake. We started, of course, with the stock box. We went with the APR closed system and then the APR open intake. Now, I wanted to really kick it up a notch. I wanted something that I knew was gonna have proven performance, or at least proven increased airflow, and this is actually one of them, and I'll show the results just from an individual who tested a bunch of intakes. Of course, now I have the full system too, so I have the elbow that goes into the turbo, as I mentioned earlier. Most of the air boxes that I've installed are literally just this section, so if you just cut it off here and just have this, all of the intakes that I've used in the past have just been that one section. I wanted to try something new that was actually going to utilize all this front space, and that's something that the integrated engineering intake does, and it does really well, and actually it's quite fun to install too. So I think without further ado, we're going to close the hood and we'll take this thing for a little spin, and we'll get some nice sound clips. Oh man, I do love driving this thing. Every single time I get in it, it's always really, really exciting. It's definitely due for a nice detail. As you guys probably can see from the outside, I haven't cleaned it in about a month, which is the longest time I've ever gone with any of my cars, I think. All right, so to start us off, the car does have a little bit of temperature. I'm still gonna wait a little bit just to get really on it, but you know, kind of as you guys saw sort of from my installation video, my initial impressions, noise-wise, it's really quite noisy. It does pick up a lot of the induction sound that was very similar to sort of the sound from the APR open intake. Now, one of the things I was worried about when I was installing this is the fact that it wasn't going to be as loud because the filter is actually not as big. Now I can definitely tell you that the noise, at least from you know how I sit and just from my driving style, it's the noise is pretty much on par. If you guys aren't really looking for all that noise, obviously, you know, I do recommend getting the carbon lid with your IE intake. Another reason why to get that carbon lid too is if you guys live in hotter climates, it's really beneficial to have something that can kind of close off the intake and keep out any heat. These cars definitely do suffer from a little bit of heat soak, and an intercooler will definitely help that, and that's certainly on the plan of things to do going into the new year. But I'm in a colder climate, so I only really have one season of really heat, and even in the summertime, it's a mix. You know, you get certainly some really hot days, but you get a little bit of cooler days too. Now, a little bit of compressor surge. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering where this compressor surge is coming from, and if my, you know, diverter or PCV valve is unplugged. It is not. Everything is all how it should be. This is just simply how the car sounds with the tune. As you guys can hear, it sounds really, really good. Yeah, I'm in love with the sound. It's a really, really nice noise. All right, so we'll do one final pull. Alright, so that's going to conclude the video there. Hopefully you guys found this video interesting, informative, and hopefully it inspired some of you guys to go out there and get your own IE intake. One of my favorite intakes for this platform. You know, I never actually really thought how much of how different it looks in the engine bay, just kind of getting rid of all that stock piping. You know, obviously just having a full system now is something that's got to be more preferable, especially when we go to big power down the lines. Can't thank IE enough for this opportunity. And of course, if you guys are interested in this intake, the link will be listed below in the description, so you guys can check it out and scoop up your own. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.